Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this place called my channel, where we tell stories and things and such, and have fun times. And we are here tonight for something I've been really excited about, that I've been hyped and had an idea for a while. And I managed to wrangle these incredible people to come help me make it a reality. So I'm really excited to be launching Fate of the Appliance Wars tonight, which is kind of my take on the Brave Little Toaster concept. Aw, thanks. Where, of course, appliances are brave and hopeful and do crazy, impossible things, which seemed all too perfect for the Fate core system. So we'll be using the Fate core system for a four game campaign run of Fate of the Appliance Wars with these awesome people. So we start tonight, and we're going to go for 4 more weeks. But the question always when I mentioned this concept or idea to people was, oh my god, what appliance would I be? Because of course that is the dying question, like, what appliance would you play? So we're actually going to go around now and get to meet not only these awesome players, but their appliance and what appliance they're going to be playing. So you guys tell us a little bit about your appliance. Not too much, because we're going to do a lot of discovering here in this first game. But give us the brief rundown and the important things. And if you want to read your high concept off of your character sheet, you're welcome to. And actually, we're going to go directly across. I'm going to ping pong. And we're going to start with Laugh Love Lindy.
Hi, I'm Laugh Love Lindy, and I'm going to be playing Bernina the sewing machine, the Swiss sewing machine, who just pines for the good old days. She's a beautiful old piece of machinery, and because she's a treadle sewing machine, she doesn't have electricity or need it. She just kind of keeps on rocking.
Yes, she does. And I asked a really odd question of everyone, which was to think about where their face is and how they move. Can you talk a little bit about how this old antique sewing machine talks and moves?
Yes, for sure. So she moves. She's kind of one of those that's kind of set inside one of the tables, because she's a treadle machine. So you got to have that treadle to push. So she kind of just uses the momentum of the treadle foot to kind of like rock back and forth on her little wooden legs everywhere. So she's pretty much small table sized. And her face, like her eyes are right above where the thing in her mouth is kind of right where the up and down of the needle would be. So her face is right at the front.
All right. Okay.
Then the moving of the mouth would be the needle foot.
The needle, yeah, up and down.
Wow.
Oh, cool. So
like the presser foot. Yeah.
She probably talks a lot, or I could see that motif of her.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Going directly across drops us over to Myth, actually. Hey, Myth.
Hi. I'm Myth. I'm playing Vinny Victrola. He is either a gramophone or a phonograph. I think it's a phonograph, right? Anyway, he's an old record player. He is a man of a forgotten time and a forgotten art. He is a crooner at heart, and also has a corrupt ties to a family, the Victrola family. It's his brand family. And pretty excited about him. He talks with a bit of, I guess, a bit of an echo, because his face is buried deep within the bell of the gramophone, I guess, or the record player. Deep within that bell is where his face is. I do kind of like in Brave Little Toaster, where the radio didn't have a face.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just kind of like, it was very mysterious, and I did like that. So I think I'm gonna do the same thing. Deep within the horn is where his face is. He can articulate the needle back and forth and up and down as if it was an appendage, much like the antenna from Brave Little Toaster. But that is Vinny Victrola. How does he move? I think he's gonna probably hop about.
Yeah, hops.
Yeah, or like try to waddle on either two corners. Yeah. But yeah, that's Vinny.
Maybe not quite as sneaky to waddle, but
right. Yeah, he's not a sneaky man.
He's not a sneaky man. Awesome. And moving across to K-Face.
Hey,
Hey, I'm Katie. I'm playing Mikey, the wireless microphone that's just a little dented up top. He has a problem with being able to speak up. Sometimes his volume gets a little out of control because he's probably too far away from, whatever source powers him. But yeah. I also, I'm sort of like Myth here. I like in the Brave Little Toaster, the radio had no face. That's sort of how the microphone is. I think you can sort of see expressions in like the metal part of the microphone, but mostly it's just, the parts there, but mostly it's, you don't really have a face. And he gets around by sort of bouncing up and down, sometimes rolling if he has to get somewhere fast.
Oh yeah, that's practical.
But he's powered by like old fashioned huge battery pack. Yeah.
So do you charge, or do you take like a certain amount of like double A's, or like
you take like a certain amount of like D batteries that
go
in
like
old,
like one of the old
it is a heavy
like we pull out like the 3 D batteries inside just a tube of batteries, basically.
They did not figure out power then. They're like, we've got batteries, let's just make them square and weird.
That's
exactly.
So funny. Oh, I know which ones you're talking about. Okay, okay, got it. Very cool. Yeah, because power is going to become a thing in this. It is considered a resource. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So I'm excited to know that you have a very specific kind of battery that we're going to have to look for. And next up, we have Kika.
Hi, I'm Kika. I'm playing Lobelia, the label maker, who was kept in the garage. So she became part of the garage's Y Ripper Garage gang, where all the rowdy, scary appliances are. Her face is sort of, and expressions are sort of done like on her little screen, so she does like little emoji things, and she moves by, she has like a little flip out stand in the back, so she moves kind of like that.
Yeah,
kind of scoots one boot like scoot. Trigger at a time. Yeah.
She can also kind of hop a little bit, but she doesn't really do that as much.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. I would never, like I said, I asked a lot of people what they would play, and I got a lot of responses. A lot of music-based things, but Label Maker was by far the one where I almost did a spit take.
Thought of that right away, too.
That's great. And last but certainly not least, we have the household boombox. Mad Gamer is joining the channel for the first time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
So excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tell us about this boombox.
So I'm playing Billy the boombox. And, he's been a staple and a household must for a number of years, and I think that he's learned to be the center of the party. He's, everyone kind of bases their enjoyment off of what he's got to bring, and I think I'm just used to being the life of the party. But I have a deeper side. I think for many years, I must have been owned by a lovelorn human that like made a lot of mixtapes. I'm a dual AM FM dual cassette radio, so. In those days, you would just take a tape and you pop it in and just keep making your own mixtapes. I had a lot of love tapes that were made to woo, a variety of people, I imagine, or one person that they really was trying to wrap their heart around. So, I got a lot of love in my radio heart, and I'm unfortunately I don't know what happened to those tapes. So I'm kind of reverting to the old days. I kind of play it cool. Jam to the beat, but I'm still looking for my lost mixtapes.
I'm just thinking of the days when I used to like record songs off the radio onto a tape.
Yeah.
And like have to cut out the commercials and stuff. Oh, good days.
That was an art. You'd have to be able to hit the pause right, the right
perfect time and
run across the room. So I mean, you put a lot of energy into those. I don't have much of a face. I have an EQ and I've got a lot of knobs, and I've learned to move them around to express myself.
So expressive.
Oh yes. Nice antenna that I'll wave side to side and beat gets hot. Oh.
Is it you? So I'm guessing it's like you can reach things too and do all kinds of.
Yes. I can push things.
Dexterous things.
I can, use it to express myself. Instead of raising my eyebrows, I might raise my antenna.
So, so you guys have to know, it's going to be really hard for me to keep a straight face through this game. I laughed entirely pretty much during all of our character creation. And then I laughed after all of our character creations, and so I can't even keep a straight face as you guys are explaining your characters. This is gonna go well, but I'm Little Red Dot, who can't keep a straight face. I'm trying not to laugh at her players' characters. For Fate of the Appliance Wars. Thank you all who just popped into chat. I see you there. I think it's going to help, one, if I go over a few things about Fate, the core kind of things about this system in particular. It's a very open storytelling, so you're going to see a lot of role play, which I'm super down for. But what I love about Fate Core in particular is that it allows you to put whatever flavor as a GM you want on it. You may have tuned in for Fate of Cthulhu that I ran, that somebody else wrote. I ran the Fate of the Anchormen, and now here we are with Fate of the Appliance Wars. And one of the things I love about Fate is it doesn't use a d20. It uses the fudge die system. Actually, right there on the screen, you can see it. Fudge die are 6-sided die that have 2 blank sides, 2 negative sides, and 2 positive sides. And they add up, providing a bit of a scale when you roll. So the average scale of Fate goes somewhere between like -2 and 8. 8 being a legendary thing that's kind of like a nat 20. Oh, thank you there for that follow. Dropping some love in the cup. So every roll, just like in a lot of other tabletops where you roll kind of a base dice d20, on average sometimes d10, in this, you roll 4 fudge die, and then you add them together, and then you'll have a slew of bonuses, like most of our tabletops, that get added on top of that. So that's the base of just kind of how the roll system works. Basic math, pluses, minuses, I think we can all handle it. The good news is, Roll20 now has added quite a few neat things to the dice chart, and one of them is the fudge die, so makes for quick and easy gaming if you want to pick up Fate Core. Yeah, so that's one. Second off, it looks like oh look, I have rolls here to show you. Haha. Boop-a-doo-doo. Let me pull one up so you can see it. Yeah, there you go. In addition, there is a set of skills. In this case, they're very basic, open skills. I've tailored a few of them to be specific to appliances because, appliances don't really shoot or drive, really. So we've altered a few of these, and we're going to be using them inside of this kind of crazy world where appliances have gained sentient life, really. And how that happened is a bit of a mystery, though the appliance lore and the whispers on the ancient appliances is that about 15 years ago, there was a giant explosion. A bomb dropping, maybe, not really sure, and it pushed the souls out of the humans and into the items and appliances around them, basically ingesting life into them, but unfortunately also ripping the souls from those that survived the extreme amounts of radiation and about 48 hours worth of bombings on the surface of the known planet. Some appliances woke up right away. Others took years before they kind of came to. But each of them holding memory, faint memory of who once owned them or what their life was prior to being able to speak, communicate, and think freely. Much like the way a child has memories of smell, not a lot of visuals, but a lot of feelings, and, I guess, sensory memories. But our story takes place on the mostly deserted coast of Long Island. In the suburbs, down a cul-de-sac. The bomb that dropped on New York City wiped everything pretty much clean. The outskirts wiped through this area and left a few houses on the end of this cul-de-sac standing. Our house sits at the very peak of the cul-de-sac and leans slightly to the side, creaking in the wind, barely still standing, as most of the other houses on the block were leveled. Small 2-bedroom home with a garage, locked tight. The scorched sky creates a silhouette on the house as the camera zooms in through the front door, and we see that it is a mostly untouched home, minus the explosion itself or the wave. There are still pictures on the wall, and items and furniture, as if maybe it's not been quite as picked over as the rest of this world. But we come across a sitting room. Old books, a broken glass decanter that probably once held some kind of fine bourbon. And there is a wooden table, one might think, with some kind of strange pedal along the bottom, and a giant brass horn attached to the base of some kind of wooden box. And they sit in their morning routine. Tell us what our sewing machine and our gramophone / phonograph look like sitting in the study of this home.
Well, it's hard to be like, I don't know, we just sit there. But
I'm just an appliance.
Right, I don't know, we're just there. So Vinny Victrola, being the gramophone in this case, or phonograph, he's sitting as he would a gramophone and or phonograph, and he's tapping the needle like anxiously against the empty track that is the rotating base, and I guess that's probably what he's doing. Just the
Bernina would be trying to get her treadle like revved up for the morning, so she's kind of just rocking back and forth a little bit, and then she kind of speeds up, probably almost in time with Vinny. Like he's getting the time to which her treadle is gonna kind of be at for the next couple hours once she gets moving. She's had she needs her beauty sleep.
Oh,
obviously.
sure.
So much work to be done around the house. So she'd be kind of waking up, and then once she's woken up, she'd be like, "Oh, Vinny, you seem a little nervous this morning. Is everything all right?"
yeah, everything's fine. He echoed from within the bell. It's just, it gets kind of boring, doing the same thing every day. I've been watching you do amazing work. I mean, you're doing what you should be. I mean, yeah, these couches aren't going to reupholster themselves, but you know how long it's been since I've actually sung a song?
Well, you could always sing me a song, Vinny.
I guess I could, but hold on. And he kind of he hops up on the back edge of his of the box that he of course resides, the base, and he kind of just starts to waddle as he would towards maybe a nearby shelf, or maybe just two bookends on the surface that he is on. And he, with his needle, he just whips it out and just pulls like a record out from the stack of them, and it falls over, and out slides the part, like I guess the crescent revealing of a vinyl record, and he drags the needle across, because he's a gramophone, he can't read labels, so he drags the needle across the ridge, and he starts to hear some of the music. Goes, "How this'll do," and he aggressively stabs underneath it with his needle, and then lifts it up and slides down the needle arm onto the track, and then he waddles back over to where he once was, and then he starts to you see the crank that's to the side of the Victrola starts to wind itself, and as it does, he lets go, and then it starts to unwind in the other direction, and then he lays the needle, and an old Frank Sinatra greatest hits plays in the as probably Strangers in the Night plays.
Yeah, imagine it like winds up to, it's like Yeah.
Is in the night. Yeah, and then and they start singing.
And it echoes out through the house. The wooden floorboards and baseboards rattle with the sounds of music. And the sound the camera follows the sound up the stairs as it echoes to the second floor. And we find a few sets of bedrooms, and one in particular seems different than the rest. Definitely not that of the two elderly people who once lived here. Definitely that of potentially their grandson. 80s posters and decor all over the wall. There's a boombox and a microphone that live in this room. What are you both up to in your morning routine?
If it's the first moment of that morning for me, I need to start just making sure everything's working properly. Some of my tape decks have been sticking, so I'm opening them up, stretching the antenna, moving the bars on my equalizer, making sure all the lights pop on and off. As soon as that regimen is done, I take a breath and try to figure out how to start my day. I need a song to kind of get me going. So I'm kind of tapping to myself, just kind of bouncing around, boom, 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 boom. That's just the sound of the box hitting the floor as I'm sort of revving myself up for the day. Boom, boom, boom.
And it conflicts with the sound of the gramophone / phonograph downstairs that is coming up. A pretty normal routine, actually, as you both fight for
The neighbor.
yeah, sound dominance in the house. What about the microphone?
You see the microphone sort of goes from like leaning against the boombox to standing up on its own on its flat base, and you just hear testing, just getting louder and lower, like back and forth, and just looks toward the boombox and is like, I can't really decide on a good volume today. I'm not. What do we think I should do? What? I don't really know how loud to be today. It's just really rough to decide how we should be.
And I'm sure as you're talking, you're going up, you're actually picking up as well the sounds coming out of the boombox. So they're getting escalated and brought back down as well as you try to mitigate and find medium ground for communication.
Sure.
You're kind of spiking at that level. So if you can bring it down, check it out. Look at the bars. Even out. Let's just start it. It's gonna be all right.
Okay. Just let me
start it even. There we go. That's it.
Oh, okay. I think this is a good volume right here for right now.
It feels good for just you and I.
Yeah. And that's all we need, just you and I.
Right.
Just the two of us.
We can I like it. See, that's good. We're starting off quite nice.
Yeah, and this is perfect.
I feel like this is going to be a good day. We're already in harmony.
Already, always.
Mm-hmm. Always. Oh, I get serious heart hands. That was so cute. And as just the two of us echoes down the hallway, conflicting with the rich sounds of Frank Sinatra, they echo. Yeah, right? Through the garage, which is a concrete shell, still surprisingly filled with quite a few power tools. They seem to have a gruffer demeanor than those appliances that live inside. Tell us a little bit about not only the label maker who runs with a gang here in the shop, but what the dynamic is in this kind of gruff neighborhood.
Well, Lobelia, the label maker at this hour, would be slowly kicking the shattered remains of an electric egg beater that's been wrapped up in label tape that has the word loser printed on it over and over, just out towards the front of the garage to kick it out towards the curb. It's pretty much what she ends up doing. She doesn't really initiate fights, but she ends up doing cleanup a lot. The other power tools, the power tools in the garage sort of establish the territory and sort of defend the homestead and leave those that they have defeated to Lobelia to then publicly hang and then dispose of.
The few appliances that still exist in the homes up and down this street, though not many, know of the label maker and the horrors that they have seen at her buttons. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So. Thanks, Paladin. And we've had a few bits come in. So for such an eventful, actually, for such a normal morning, for just going about your usual, normal, post-apocalyptic appliance lifestyle.
Yep.
All of you get a gifted fate point from chat. So all of you have an additional fate point on top of the 3 that you start with, which is very exciting. The drama bar, there was an ask in chat. So the drama bar is something that I do here through these kind of short run campaigns. Once we reach 2,500 bits, basically, every time the drama bar will reset. But once we reach that, drama happens in the game. That's how it works. We fill the drama bar, drama drops out of the sky in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes I'll let you guys choose. Sometimes I have something planned that I have been sitting on. But if you want drama to happen for our lovely household appliances, yeah, that's how you do it. So it looks like we're already over halfway there, which means that before we ever leave the block, I have a feeling that drama is going to happen. So keep at it, chat. Just keep at it. So yeah, all right. So some things to know about this house. There are other appliances that are also here. You're not the only 5. There are a few kitchen appliances that have managed to stake claim to that space. Unfortunately, it looks like the egg beater may have done some bad doings in the recent and maybe was voted off the island or something. So there is a tube television, a very large one that is almost immobile. It's so big and heavy. It's the one that like is inset and it's got like the speakers and the feet. It's not really going anywhere. Clearly these are a lot of outdated appliances, which may also have been the reason why a lot of you haven't been scrapped for parts. It's been about 7 years that the 5 of you have been living together in this cul-de-sac ecosystem of appliances. Really unharmed. Rumor has come and you've had a few appliances stumble upon your block, most of the time injured or very corrupt. Which I have a feeling that our local gang handles and clears out pretty quickly and have kept you guys relatively protected. As the morning kind of pitters on in its usual pattern, the CB radio that stays on inside of the garage at all times, which usually simply lets out static and no message, begins to peak this morning. And it, of course, is very easy to hear as it rings, or the static comes in and out. Oh, thank you, Theater Nerd. And it come in. Every appliance, I don't know that the ones inside the house hear it, but definitely everything in the garage. You can't help but hear the CB radio. Yeah,
definitely Bernita is using the basically battle of the bands from between upstairs and downstairs as an excuse to, rock her way over closer to Herr Victrola. As an excuse to hear the music better, but there may be ulterior motives.
We've got some low stream happening. I think I'm going to cut my camera for Zoom, gang, so the cameras are going to get a little funky here for just a second. I'll reset them, so just bear with me. So yeah, as you guys everything in the house probably goes quiet. I don't know, the upstairs crew, you guys may not hear it. It is just a CB radio in the garage. But definitely downstairs, you too hear that silence that sucks the air out, out of a room in the garage. And it continues to coming in. Attention all appliances. This is a Brave Toaster. Currently aboard rubbish refuge. I repeat, this is a toaster currently aboard rubbish refuge. Recent tropical winds have put us on course to float up the eastern coast. We are on collision to touch land on the following locations over the next week. Savannah, Charleston, Wilmington, Atlantic City, Long Island. I repeat, Long Island. All appliances are welcome to seek refuge from dry land and the soulless. This message will repeat, and then it starts again.
Sweet. Where do we hear that from?
You guys probably pick up a lot of it. I would say that Labella definitely hears all of it. Yeah, in the garage, and it's like clear as for
Yeah, okay. Labella's got it.
We're too busy singing to hear any of that.
Yeah, you guys are like
yeah.
morning music. The appliances, which consist of a circ saw, in the that's kind of left. There's like your like small scale stuff, but the bigger tools are a circ saw. We did it! Drama's about to ensue. Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yes, it is. Thank you guys so much. Let me fix this camera problem, and we'll make some drama happen. So, that's better. Let's see if that doesn't fix our frame rate, gang, if I just cut one of my cameras.
Maybe.
So, what do you do when you kind of, what is your action here? What are you wanting to make happen when you hear this message? There, we didn't lose her. Okay.
I think Lobelia would probably look towards the leader of the gang and wait to see what they have to say.
Who is the leader of the garage gang? Do they have an official name?
I haven't thought of one.
Okay, that's all right. Let's say, for the sake of, it is an older shop. So the appliance that runs the shop is going to be, it's the pneumatic staple gun.
Nice.
And his sidekick, the air pressure machine. And they're a bit gruff and tough around the edges. Almost got it all set up. That's who's in it to win it this time around. So they step up. You watch it as it kind of slithers like a giant snake out from underneath the rusted car that sits motionless and has for the last 15 years. The pneumatic staple gun steps up. You hear it release pressure. Those of you upstairs would definitely have heard the release of pressure from the gun or
Those things are loud.
Yeah, they're very loud. So you would have heard it release in the tool shed or the tool area. And so it begins to speak. This is garbage. And it actually shoots a few nails, like it goes at a wall in its anger. These are tricks by the soulless to draw us out. A few other appliances. Yeah, it's just drawing us out.
Do you think they're smart enough to do that?
The pneumatic staple gun turns its head very slowly. And, like, its whole, like, torso turns and looks at you. Maybe not, but isn't it better just to be safe? Plus, the trip alone to the shore is dangerous and long. None of us have ever left the cul-de-sac.
You mean none of us have ever been brave enough to leave the cul-de-sac?
You hear it like as another nail like shoots towards the wall. Are you calling me not brave, label maker?
You have important business here. You are in charge and you make sure we are all safe. But if one less importance were brave enough to go, that would be possibly advantageous.
You watch as he kind of lowers himself via the air cable that's attached to the pressure machine. Kind of coils up like a snake going into a basket, and it sits on top of its coil. This is a smart idea. You're a capable appliance. I like your plan, but what if it is true? You go all the way, and the island does exist. Will you come back for us?
They sent a message. I could send another.
Yes. Well, you cannot go alone, and we cannot risk the safety of this place to send my men. A few of the appliances like pull back, and he says, what about the trash inside? If nothing else, they are a good distraction as you outrun Soulless on your way.
And that would mean less to look after.
True. If it weren't for those two old pieces of junk that sit in the center living room, we might be able to move ourselves inside.
Worked hard on those linens. I just reupholstered these couches. You ain't getting grease and sawdust all over my living room. And these curtains, shooting nails everywhere. Do you even see this wallpaper?
He says, all right, if you can convince some of them to go along with you, I will back your plan. Give you whatever supplies and extra batteries you need.
Love it.
I will see if they will accept my audience.
They only listen to you. Must be because you're not quite as threatening on the outside.
Perhaps.
Make me proud, label maker.
I won't let you down, Nailgun.
Perfect.
We just hear the brrrr as the air compressor kicks on and starts to
He's like,
all the-
I must refresh my batteries. Yeah, he's like, I must repressurize.
Now, if you excuse me.
for like 20 minutes.
Slowly turns around dramatically, and you just hear.
The only way, the door to the garage unfortunately was locked when the initial explosion happened, from the inside. So unfortunately, the only way that most people can enter the house and the garage is through the dog door. There's a flat dog door, which means not all of the garage appliances have been able to actually enter the home. So only the few, and you've been quite a few times inside, and the inside appliances, especially the kitchen appliances, because that's where the dog door kind of leads into, is the kitchen and laundry room area, know you rather well. You seem to be somewhat diplomatic, with them. And as you, I'm sure guessing, plop through the kitchen, it is, it's the oven that still stands rusted, and one side of it, almost like drooping and crumpled from time, kind of talks like this. And his, like, mouth, like, creaks as it opens. He says, What trouble do you bring now, label maker?
Oh, I just look for those who are brave enough to escape the soulless once and for all.
It like coughs and ash spits out of it. There is no such thing as escape. This is the world now. I hope you're not listening to those CB radios.
Not all of us are content to rust away, Lobelia says before just shuffling on past.
He goes, hey, hey! And you can see, like, you know, because he's fitted between countertops, he kind of, like, squirms a little, and as he does, pieces of his rusted form begin to fall off. And he's like, hey, stop! I wasn't done talking to you! As you move right on through. And this leads to a very small foyer area, and directly into kind of a sitting room, where, of course, the sewing machine and the gramophone, homophone thing hangs out. Are you looking for anyone in particular?
Not really. She just doesn't like the appliances in the kitchen.
There's kitchen appliances.
Way
for
above appliance.
assholes.
Kitchen appliances.
Sitting room appliances. I have come to speak with you.
Strangers in the night, exchanging glances. What? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard something.
Who was that? Hello?
Hello.
Oh, it's an electrical appliance.
Hello, electrical.
Good day, analog.
How's the garage?
Same old, same old.
Any news?
All apart from the egg beater getting uppity and ending up on the street.
Tag sale.
Yeah, well, it's tag sale. Were you able to hear the radio from in here?
I heard something. Yeah, it sounded like beats of something.
I heard the beautiful music of Herr Victrola.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was news on the radio.
Oh, that radio. No, haven't. What's it say?
It seems there may be a means of escaping the soulless permanently.
Permanently? What do you mean?
There seems to be some sort of moving island that we can possibly hitch a ride on. It is on its way.
Interesting.
An island?
Yes.
For no people?
Just appliances.
That's interesting. I've never really thought of actually ever leaving the house.
Likewise, I just finished reupholstering the couches, the furniture. I was going to move on to the curtains next.
Yeah, they were just you made new curtains last week.
I mean, I reupholstered the couches last year. So, you know, you can never be too in fashion.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Gotta stay up to date. Gotta keep the house up to date.
But would it not be exciting to have an entire island to work on?
Perhaps.
You could feng shui a whole island.
Reupholster everything.
Yeah. I mean, the best part about me, let's be real. I like to sing, and I like people to talk about me. All right, they see me and they go, "Oh, look at that! Look at you have one of those. That's nice. That's a nice looking Victrola. Oh, it is a Victrola. Oh, wow! Holy, nice. It's a good age. It's beautiful work. You have the letter of authenticity? Oh, you do. This is great. See, that's what I love. I love that stuff. And now, if I don't know if anyone's ever going to talk about me, and I don't know if I could be the conversation piece, if there's not going to be any conversations to be had. You know what I'm saying?
It's about this time that another appliance that's very much out of place for this like old sitting room, which is a cordless telephone, goes, oh my god, he's always talking. Is it just me, or is that gramophone always talking?
You're the one who's always talking. And my treadle starts to go a little faster.
It hops
out.
It hops out of the base and over towards all of you, and she says, "So you're telling me that the radio over there in the garage says that there's an island coming that's supposed to take us away from the Solus?"
Yes.
I mean, we haven't seen a Solus in years.
It's very true.
What if they're all gone?
Well, then it would be perfectly safe to go and look, now wouldn't it?
This phone has a moment where you can tell, like, has to think through this, and it's like, oh, well, maybe you're right. Well, you know, I've got to tell my cousin Susanna that lives down at the end of the block in the trash rubble heap that this is happening, because she's going to want to come along.
Did she get over her affair with the toaster?
Oh, that toaster, he's lost one too many springs, if you know what I'm saying.
He's a toaster oven, so it's just maybe it's the horizontal effect. You can never trust electricity. They always let you down.
Yep. That's right. That's what I say.
It's very true. Very, very true.
She goes,
No
wow,
offense.
I've got to spread the news. Oh my god. And it jumps out of like a hole that is in the window that's clearly like a usual exit for some of the smaller pieces. And you hear it like clunk onto the broken asphalt as it down the stepping stones down the street as this like cordless phone hops down to what looks to be a large trash pile and maybe some old trash cans that have been kind of gathered together to create some kind of odd shelter near a mailbox at the end of the block, and the phone disappears inside.
Upstairs have Billy and Mikey seen this?
You would have heard, you couldn't have missed at least the cable or the cordless phone.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure that got our attention.
You can hear her throughout the house.
Yeah, she's real loud. It's like speakerphone, just constant.
Yeah.
Just so constant.
We're right in the middle of a good groove.
I know she always has that. She just doesn't understand musical arts, and she always likes to talk over everybody else. At least when Vinny does it, you know, it's art.
It's
In the moments after we were interrupted, did we hear the announcement?
I would say that you heard what you wouldn't have heard the announcement, but you would have heard what the cordless phone said, which is repeating that there's a trash island coming by that's supposed to save everybody.
And she's downstairs talking to our people.
We should probably go. You know, they might leave us, and I just don't want to be left behind. You know, because they need. We should probably join them.
I don't think they're gonna leave, but let's go see what's happening.
Okay.
As you guys hop down the hallway to what is a small flight of carpeted stairs, of course, it is the 80s for Pete's sake. There is a small bathroom and a blow dryer. A very pink blow dryer peeks its head out. She's twirling her swirly cable. And she says, "Oh, I see you're listening to cordless phones now."
Mikey's 100% hiding behind Billy, like just peeking out a little bit.
She comes over and drapes her outlet over the side of your very geometric boombox body. She gets too close.
You're getting very touchy again. I take my antenna and kind of push her back. Look, you see we're on our way downstairs. I don't know what's happening right now. I have no idea. Just chill.
Yeah, like Michael Jackson says, beat it.
And she lets out a little hot air in your face, a little pff, as a blow dryer, and she says, "Anytime you change your mind, boombox, you know which bathroom to find me in."
Never gonna.
The only one in the house.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. So
She whispers, "There's a half bath," and she closes the door behind her. As
it's like every day with me, every day. All right.
She doesn't understand the meaning of coming on too strong.
Yeah, she just moves so fast, so fast. Get to know somebody.
She doesn't even have a cold setting. She just goes straight to hot.
She doesn't even know my middle name.
she doesn't.
Do you have a middle name, Billy?
Well, technically, it's Boom. Billy Boom.
Oh, Billy Boombox. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But let's keep moving before she pops out again.
Yeah, she makes me a little nervous.
That's all right. I don't let her blow on you anymore.
Thanks, Billy. Mikey's just gonna hop behind Billy.
Right now. So as you guys hop down, you find basically the three of them standing somewhere between the open archway of the foyer and the sitting area, kind of just hanging out. You catch just the faint, like, of the phone still hopping down the road.
Ugh, more youngsters.
Yep. Look at him.
Gathering down here. It's almost like a party.
Please don't say party.
Yeah, it's not a party. It's a gathering.
It's kind of somber.
A gala, if you will.
Isn't that just a synonym for a party?
Yeah, but a nicer word.
A little old-fashioned.
Different connotations.
I love old fashions.
You stare over at the last broken decanter.
Like the last highball glass, just broken.
We've been out of bitters for years.
I was left just to drink bitters.
It's been awful. Been having to drink it neat.
Say, some of my thread will come off the spool and just kind of pat you gently.
It's about this time, as you guys kind of convene here in the living room, you hear this strange noise. Oh my god! And the end of the block, there seems to be some kind of commotion.
Didn't she say she was going to... Let me part the curtains just a little bit.
I think she's dead now.
Weren't
We should forget about her.
there a different set of curtains in here like 2 days ago?
A week ago.
Morning.
Hopefully up and down in a few days. Yeah, I just reupholstered the couches.
And as you pull these heavy curtains back that have a few holes in them, the morning sunlight, like beams in, blinding your eyes, and as all of your appliance eyeballs make out through the sun, there are two soulless. Three now soulless, digging and rummaging through the trash heap at the end of the block. You watch as they kick your phone friend. She goes, "Oh my god!" As she goes flying off into the nearby woods. They basically punt her. And they're grabbing sentient appliances, small ones. The toaster with too many loose springs and things begin to bowl out of the trash pile, and they're like picking them up. One of them bashes one with the hammer, ripping it apart right in front of your eyes as springs and gears go flying. It's kind of chaos. A few small things manage to make it out and into the woods, but the majority of it, you can tell they're stuffing things in sacks that they carry on their backs and on their hips, and you hear one of them go, "More! I smell more of them!" As his teeth.
I've very quickly sewn the curtains shut.
We'll just need to
100 stitches per minute. So good. Classic. Swiss
do.
precision.
Love it.
Isn't this what the people in the garage were warning about? The message? This is that.
Yes, let's go. Back door.
Yes, perhaps we should.
What happened?
It was
Oh,
awful
don't
heavy.
got it.
I couldn't see. I couldn't see it. My face is way inside here.
Somebody reflect it down with a mirror, quick!
Hurry!
Nothing good is happening outside.
Somebody get the dental probe. The only way I can see
There's
things.
enough of a diversion for us to escape. Let's go.
Sis, we saw us outside and they are ransacking the trash pile across the way.
Okay, all right. Lead the way.
You guys begin to, rock and follow her out. You said you're heading him to the back door. Is that what I got?
Yeah. I'm assuming trash pile is.
I just grabbed my sewing bag on the way out. I kind of run through a few stitches into the handle. It's kind of draped over, and I bring the extra thread and bobbins and stuff.
Yeah,
with me.
Tell me. Okay, so this is okay. You know what? This will be our first roll. So in Fate, you don't roll quite as much. It's not like every small thing that you do requires a roll. It's more when you have challenges that come your way, or things that are fighting against you. So in this case, time is against you. Time is of the essence as they begin ransacking, because really your house at the end of the block is what is considered basically gold at this point.
All of us.
Yeah. Tell me what you want to grab, if there's anything that you want to grab. And then I am going to have everybody make a check. For grabbing things, you're going to make a resource check to know just kind of what best resources would need to be taken. And then in addition to that, I'll have you guys you could make a stealth check. You could make I'd also take like an athletics check for anybody that wants to do it athletically, to basically get out of the house quickly and quietly.
Okay.
So on your sheet, you should just be able to click the dice below the skill. So the first one would be resources if you're wanting to grab anything. Stuff like batteries would be a good idea, and that kind of thing. And then records, so that he doesn't get lonely.
He has the one on him already. I don't know if I need to bring more.
Right. So here's the dice. For those of you that came in a little late, I see some questions happening about Fate. We're playing Fate Core, which it uses what we call the fudge dice system. So we're about to get some rolls here. You'll see that kind of what those look like. So let's get our first set of rolls. Who's leading the group? I think you were. So Kika, let's get you to make the very first roll. So if you want to grab anything on the way out, resources. If not, you can make a stealth or an athletics check.
I'm doing resources.
Hot dog.
I got a 6.
Wow. That's a really good roll. You know exactly what you need to get as a label maker. You don't know how you're going to carry it, but you start collecting things. Maybe I don't know. Do you wrap it in your tape? How do you take things with you?
I think being part of a gang, I have fashioned of tape like an ammo belt thing, like a 90s superhero, but it's got like AAA batteries in it.
Yeah, so you know exactly, you know what? You know exactly what kitchen drawer is the junk drawer.
Yeah. That's
it. So you go run to the kitchen junk drawer, you grab extra batteries, a small toolkit, you know, those little tiny screwdrivers that are meant for like small scale stuff, and you're like quickly tucking them and wrapping them in your label tape, and you make a fantastic resource check to get resources both for you and your team out of 6. That's considered a fantastic roll, so good stuff.
Could I possibly do an investigate to sort of figure out what would be the safest path to take away that would make us least likely to be noticed?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, if you have good investigation, go ahead and roll the investigation. We'll say too that you've been a bit of a scout for the garage gang. And will probably know the best way out of here, but let's give it a roll anyways.
What's the listen skill? What skill would that be?
Listen in this case is notice.
Notice.
Okay.
Investigate is 4. So yeah, that's really good. You know that there was a path that the old man used to take to go fishing, because he loved nothing more than sitting on a boat, drinking PBR, and labeling the small little drawers on his massive 500 drawer toolbox and reorganizing his bait and those kind of things. So you used to take him with you, and you know that there's a small path down to a pond that used to be out back and would definitely be a safe place where you guys potentially could hide.
Like, okay, we're taking the fishing path. Let's go. And I want to go over to the sewing machine and just like jump on her foot pedal, like to get her thing going faster. So like expecting her to carry me.
Yeah, you probably hang a ride. Those big ones usually have the is your pedal small, or do you have one of those really big long pedals?
Oh, it's one of the big cast iron.
You probably hitch a ride on it.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey's going to also look through
our transportation.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be the everyone hop on the sewing machine.
Right, yeah.
Let's go.
Mikey's also going to look through the junk drawer if possible to try to find another battery, or try to find some batteries, because I don't think he's changed his batteries in a long time.
All right, so you peer through the junk drawer. This is definitely the old man and old woman's junk drawer. So let's see if they had any of the D batteries there or not.
Resources?
That would be resources, correct.
3.
Resources 3. You dig through. You find a few other things that interest you that you're able to kind of slip in your pack, and we'll say that those may be items that we figure out what they are along the way, and along through our story. You remember that they did not keep your D batteries here. Your D batteries were kept in his bedside table upstairs. Yep.
Yeah. He's going to jump down and just sort of hope for the best and follow after Lobelia and Bernina.
Oh, thank you for that raid out there. So, drama continues to ensue. Did you want to go upstairs? You would have time. They're not at the house yet. And when you peer outside, you actually see that the garage has cracked open and has allowed the army of garage appliances are out, and they're beginning to fight them off or try their best. They trip one of them. The circ saw is just took off somebody's limb. Blood spatters everywhere. It's chaos out front of the house.
The destruction.
If there's enough time, then Mikey will look, especially at Billy, and just go, "Do you need anything from up there?"
I need tapes. You see, I have a pile of tapes sitting on a dresser. Grab those, and if you
I can promise one. And
Okay,
Mikey just runs back upstairs.
then not the one at the top, the one in the middle.
Not the one.
I can't make any promises.
I'll take it. Whatever you got.
Yeah, Mikey, I'm gonna go try to find the batteries and grab a tape for Billy.
So I'll say you had a 3, and I'm going to give you basically just a given +1 to that roll, because it's your bedroom, it's his bedroom. You would know where all those things are. You know Billy's favorite cassettes, and at a 3, you're able to probably grab resources enough out of the bedroom for your batteries, his cassettes, and you're pretty much good to go there. You might have even grabbed a few extra batteries. For him specifically. Do you run off AA batteries or do you run off D batteries as well?
Oh, they have to be D's.
Yeah. So you grab as many D batteries as you can carry. Yeah, as you can carry.
You just start rolling them down the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. They're scrolling. And then I follow.
Oh, you know what? You find one of the kids' old pencil cases. And you're able to tuck everything in, and you loop it and tie it to yourself. You zip tie it to yourself, and you're dragging this bag of D batteries glunk, glunk, down and outside until you can get it to old sewing machine who can hold it for you. There you go. Yeah, so you managed to get resources for the both of you. Last but certainly not least is the gramophone. Would you like to roll for any kind of resources?
No, I don't. Vinny Victrola is manual or analog and also timeless, so he doesn't need any resources. So he's good.
Timeless it is. All right. I was gonna say the 5 of you make it out back to a small deck area that was part of a garden that she kept that is now not really overgrown. It's just the crunchy pieces of life that are left from the plants that she had. And as you guys treble through, and definitely with the sewing machine in tow, you can hear the plants breaking. And it's about this time that the front door to the house burst open, and one of the soulless with them, mangled, its arm kind of strangely carried, it drools a deep, strangely dark black color, begins scouring the house. You watch as he rips your curtains down off the curtain rod.
No.
Oh yes. Oh yes. And he quickly grabs all the pillows that are left off the sofa and takes a knife to it and begins taking the stuffing and shoving it into a bag. They're just scouring the house. Only a few of the garage appliances are left standing. And as you guys are kind of exiting, you hear the sound of something. Somebody has lit fire to the garage, and the house begins to burn at a rapid rate.
Now, aside from my little bag of
drama,
of just sewing bag, would Bernina have been able to grab her favorite record of Vinny's?
I would say so.
Excellent.
I would say so. Yeah, none of you rolled bad enough that you didn't get the resources that you would need, at least on quick notice. So I'm going to take a literally 2-minute break to restart the stream and see if I can't deal with this lagging problem that I know we're all dealing with. I'm going to see if it is not just a bitrate problem or something, and I will be back literally in 2 minutes. So we're going to cut stream, everybody hang out, and I'm going to boot it right back up. So we'll be right back for a mini break. Go be a human and not an appliance.